Fit check. Fit check. Fit check. Fit check.
If
fit.
you yell at me, I'm not gonna go.
Fit check.
Ow. 8 minutes.
Swag. We going today?
The Anthropology Museum? I can't say it in Spanish because it's hard.
And then hopefully also
Castillo de Chapultepec.
Castillo de Chapultepec. Chapultepec Castle.
and then I think there's some like other museums in there and stuff, but I don't exactly know. Hold it. Hold it.
This is hard.
How's our energy level today?
I'm sleepy. You didn't make me coffee today.
Okay. I don't think I was recording that. Hold on. Say the eye makeup thing again.
You didn't say anything about my eye makeup today.
Oh, wow. How nice. Where are we sitting in front of?
Or Airbnb.
Dun dun. Yeah. Holy crap. So there's just a slight elevation here. And we just went up like a simple set of stairs and it's just like
You are, I'm not.
okay.
As big as the universe.
Basically hunter and gatherers and things, and like their version of a society. And then I was like, how did we go from that, where they were like creating tools for specific purposes, and now me being in school to be an occupational therapist? Like it's like such a huge contrast, and I'm like, it's just mind blowing. That's it.
And I think on my end, what was really interesting was a time frame. Even though I'm like vaguely familiar with Homo sapiens, like to our extent of our history is around 400,000 years. Our modern history is probably like 2 to 250. So like sapiens haven't been here for that long. But looking at Homo erectus and some of the other places, other species, I mean like million years past, which does make sense considering Homo sapiens 400,000. But it's just still like kind of, you just don't consider the extensive past of the human species. It's pretty crazy. Where are we? We figured it out.
Be my sunrise at 12, my wish to my well. Be that potion, my spell, the whole reason I fell. Be that pearl in my shell. My hello, my farewell.
This may not make it into my video, I'll decide, but we have to remember that it wasn't destiny for the Spaniards to come and kill 80% of the indigenous population. That is something very, very important to remember walking through this museum.
Be my stardust on skyfall. My halo when time cold. Head into my head. Show me something unfamiliar. Show me something you can.
I was talking to Kai, where it's been really interesting looking at the pottery here because we're so used to seeing Western pottery, like especially the Greeks is kind of what comes to mind. But over here, I mean, it's like just as complex, and it's very interesting, like constant access to this kind of pottery knowledge, I guess. It's funny, we're reading this stuff and it contradicts what our tour guide said, but it seems that because Altoplamas really founded Teotihuacan versus the Aztecs, Aztecs found it hundreds of years later, that the interpretation was made by the Aztecs what the pyramids must have meant. And in reality, it seems to be more of a dedication to water, aka life, than to anything about the sun or the moon. So we saw the pyramids of the god and goddess of water.
Baby, making it familiar. Unfamiliar. Baby, making it familiar. Making it familiar.
So this is the goddess of water. If you guys were paying attention to the history lessons in the Teotihuacan video, and as we discussed in those, or a tour guide rather, the whole is a representation of a font, like where the water pours out of her heart. It comes from the depths of her heart, and it's water, life, love, etc. You guys are curious.
You can be mine. I could say you run things when we touch it's confidential. Your body's monumental.
You can set the time and bang, curl the shots, residential. Check my credentials. Be that pearl in my shell.
This kind of looks like Marissa.
My hello, my farewell. Be my stardust on skyfall. My halo when time cold. Heading to my hill.
Show me something.
Important thing to remember is that all these tribes didn't do like daily sacrifices. What would that do to your populace if you think about it? Like, how do you establish trade relations if you sacrifice people on a daily basis? So you just use your heads, people. Even this museum is kind of playing into that myth.
Baby, making it familiar. Making it familiar. Making it familiar.
What's the dog doing? Guy, look, it's Stitch and Miko. See behind me, it's the influence of Teotihuacan on the Mayas, and it was really interesting. Yesterday was our tour guide. One of the questions I had from him at the very end was, you told us that there was definitely a connection between Teotihuacan and places like Chichen Itza because they were both really powerful at the same time, and people were interchanging goods and values, and Teotihuacan's biggest export was religion almost. it was very interesting because there's an established relation, and we always hear of them as Maya and Aztec as separate, communities, civilizations that don't really mix all that much. But at the fall of Teotihuacan, the Mayans were like devastated at that, and there was definitely strong relations. When Teotihuacan fell, the Mexica, or Aztecs, then went in the cardinal directions because that was what a lot of their society was based off of, northeast, southwest. Chichen Itza is obviously to the west, so it was one of the receiving hubs for the fall of the Teotihuacan. As my family knows, is well aware of, I grew up going to Mayan stuff and a little bit of Aztec here and there, and it just just makes me happy to see the history of the Mayas.
Si me cuesta sonreír, es porque lo intentamos todo.
We are officially in Chapultepec Park.
Tengo miedo que al salir veas que me ahogo. Me dejaste ir. Y cada año perdonarte se me olvida. Se me olvida. Hacerte el daño y ten tu disco de Shakira. Paso a dejarte el amor.
We finally got one of the famous dishes here.
Cambié y cambiaste.
Yeah.
Ahora te crees una bad bitch, pero nada de eso lo compraste. Como cuando ya no brilla el oro.
So what do you think about the museum?
The museum was super cool. Very long. You definitely need a good 2-3 hours.
If you want to skim too.
Yeah. We were skimming towards the end because we were getting hungry. One thing we talked about was we wish we knew which artifacts are like the real thing and which ones are made specifically for the museum. But otherwise, it's super cool.
Oh, I'm still recording. Nice, nice, nice.
Hablábamos de estar en París, de comprar una casa en los hills. Queriendo
Finally both
encontrarlo,
got
lo perdimos.
good art
Quisimos
on
salvarlo y no
their
pudimos.
copy.
Sé que te duele madurar. Sé que buscas a quien culpar. Fumar en tu casa solita. Llamar a tu amiga genérica. Pídete otra ronda. Sal y borra tu memoria. Mira ya la hora. Hora de perreo con dedicatoria. Y cada año perdonarte se me olvida. Se me olvida.
Oh, how's the trip been so far?
Fun. A lot of walking.
But we are having a good time doing a lot of walking because you can't really find this where we are. Well, we haven't introduced you yet, so who are you?
I'm Maxwell.
That's my cousin.
Home sweet home.
Oh.